How's it going, everybody? The Next Level Savings Sale just started on PlayStation. It's running from now until May 27th, and there's a ton of absolute bangers on sale for up to 90% off. Every day I put together lists of the top games you can get at a deep discount, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. For $21, 30% off, Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition is an action horror game where you play as a rogue colonial marine, investigating a distress call on a remote planet and uncovering a deadly black site overrun by xenomorphs. You'll fight for survival using weapons, skills, and strategy while aided by your synth companion, facing unpredictable and relentless alien threats and a gripping original story set between the Alien and Aliens films. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $12, 20% off, Faith, the Unholy Trinity is a pixel horror game inspired by classic 8-bit gaming and the satanic scare of the 1980s, following a young priest struggling against demons, cultists, and his own weakening faith. Wield your holy crucifix to perform exorcisms, fight possessed cultists, and cleanse haunted objects across 3 chapters spanning haunted forests, abandoned churches, and satanic cult sanctums. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 8 out of 10, and about 30 hours to platinum. For $13, 15% off, Project Songbird is a first-person cinematic psychological horror game where Dakota, a musician battling writer's block, isolates in a remote Appalachian cabin to record their next album, only to find themselves fighting to survive through haunting dreamscapes and a nightmarish ordeal. Explore diverse environments with ranged and melee combat, upgradable weapons, a stellar voice cast, and a dynamic soundtrack composed by members of Auric Echoes. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $14, 30% off, Signalis is an atmospheric survival horror game that blends retro-futuristic aesthetics with cosmic dread, putting you in the shoes of Elster, a replica technician searching for a lost partner and forgotten dreams. Explore haunting derelict spaceships and dystopian colonies, solve challenging puzzles, and confront nightmarish creatures in a chilling, meticulously crafted world that evokes classic psychological horror and cosmic unease. It's an 82 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $21, 40% off, Visage is a slow-burn, first-person psychological horror game that traps you in a massive, ever-changing house haunted by the dark memories of families who once lived and tragically died there. Explore its gloomy corridors and twisted rooms, uncovering grisly stories of murder, insanity, and suicide, while unseen entities stalk your every move, warping your perception and testing your sanity in a tense, terrifying, and deeply unsettling atmosphere. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $22, 25% off, Tormented Souls 2 is a survival horror experience where Carolyn Walker must save her sister Anna from visions that manifest in a terrifying reality, leading them to the remote town of Villa Hesse. Explore unnerving locations like a shadowy convent, derelict mall, and abandoned school while switching between realities to alter the past and uncover dark secrets in a twisted, suspense-filled narrative. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, and there's unfortunately 9 broken trophies, making the platinum currently unobtainable. For $5, 75% off, The Evil Within is a pure survival horror experience from Shinji Mikami that throws you into a nightmarish world of grotesque creatures, psychological terror, relentless dread, and shifting, unstable realities. With tightly crafted environments, scarce resources that force careful decision-making, terrifying enemy encounters, and a disturbing story blending action with relentless tension, it delivers a punishing and atmospheric descent into madness. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 9 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $21, 40% off, Madison is a first-person psychological horror game that plunges you into a nightmarish world where your family has been brutally murdered and you wake up trapped in a dark room. Using a possessed instant camera, you'll explore, solve twisted puzzles, and uncover the horrifying truth behind the gory ritual Madison wants you to complete, while evading multiple sinister entities whose disturbing backstories intertwine with the main narrative. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $22, 27% off, My Friendly Neighborhood is a horror action-adventure where you play Handyman Gordon, investigating a puppet studio that has mysteriously sprung back to life with terrifying, gruesome consequences. Battle ferocious puppets, solve devious playtime-themed puzzles, and uncover the sinister truth behind the once-beloved show while navigating a world that blends nostalgia, dark humor, and creeping dread. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $5, 80% off, Observation is a sci-fi thriller where you investigate a space station's mysteries through the eyes of the station's artificial intelligence, SAM, as chaos, malfunctions, and hidden dangers unfold around you. You assist Dr. Emma Fisher in uncovering what happened to her crew by controlling cameras, systems, and tools, piecing together intricate clues while navigating a chilling, isolated environment. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $5, 75% off, Tormented Souls is a survival horror adventure that channels the spirit of classics like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Following Carolyn Walker, she investigates the mysterious disappearance of twin girls in a decrepit, decaying mansion filled with nightmarish secrets. You'll explore the eerie halls of Winter Lake, solving fiendish puzzles, scavenging scarce resources, and surviving grotesque creatures that stalk every shadowed corridor. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $3, 80% off, the Coma 2 Vicious Sisters is an atmospheric, story-driven survival horror game where student Mina Park awakens in a dark, twisted version of her school, pursued by a sinister figure resembling her teacher. Venture beyond the school and into the warped Sewa district, encountering strange creatures, mysterious strangers, and uneasy allies while solving puzzles, discovering clues, and fighting to survive. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $9, 55% off, BloodRayne 2 Revamped is an action-adventure game where you play as a Dampier hunting her dangerous vampire siblings. Slash and shoot through hordes of demonic and human enemies using acrobatic movements, rail slides, and fatal finishing moves, unleash vampiric powers like time dilation and enhanced strength, and explore detailed environments filled with deadly traps and visual upgrades. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 15 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $12, 20% off, Ebe is a 2D exploration adventure game where a young girl named Ebe finds herself alone in a mysterious art gallery that begins to transform around her as she searches for anyone else. You'll explore eerie, puzzle-filled environments, inspect items, disarm traps, and solve clever challenges, while uncovering the gallery's dark secrets and confronting a creeping, surreal atmosphere. It's an 85 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 1 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $16, 20% off, BrokenLore Unfollow is a first-person psychological horror game where Anne, haunted by the trauma of bullying, is trapped in a surreal nightmare and must confront the most painful moments of her life while grotesque creatures stalk her every move. Exploring themes of cyberbullying, body dysmorphia, and emotional isolation, it delivers a tense, symbolically rich horror experience uncovering social media's dark impact on mental health. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $10, 65% off, Nightmare Reaper is a dark, violent blend of retro 2.5D first-person shooting and modern looter-shooter roguelite elements, pitting you against hordes of enemies across open-ended levels mixing manual and randomly generated nightmare escapes. Gather 80 unique weapons with randomized enchantments, purchase character upgrades via minigames, uncover a mysterious story, and unleash carnage to a soundtrack by Andrew Hulshult across multiple game modes. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 9 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $19, 25% off, The Mortuary Assistant is a chilling horror simulation where you play as an apprentice embalmer trapped overnight in a mortuary with something far more sinister than the dead lurking in the shadows. Perform embalming tasks, identify and banish demonic entities through occult rituals, and piece together clues across multiple playthroughs while enduring a constantly shifting experience designed to keep you on edge. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $5, 80% off, Dying Light Essentials Edition is a first-person zombie survival game where you traverse an infected city using parkour, scavenge for supplies, and make tense choices between duty and saving survivors. Fight creatively with weapons, environmental traps, and unique abilities, while the day-night cycle transforms you from hunter to hunted as threats grow deadlier and more unpredictable after sundown. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $3, 90% off, Fobia St. Dinfna Hotel is a first-person survival horror game where amateur journalist Roberto travels to a rumor-shrouded hotel only to discover a camera that reveals different timelines, exposing a fanatical cult, human experiments, and apparitions roaming the halls. Scavenge for supplies, solve puzzles, and run, hide, or fight monsters as past, present, and future collide in a twisting narrative full of conspiracies. It's a 72 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $12, 40% off, Immortality is an interactive mystery from Sam Barlow, creator of Her Story and Telling Lies, centered on Marissa Marcel, a would-be star who made 3 films that were never released before she mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Search through footage from all 3 lost films, Ambrosio from 1968, Minsky from 1970, and 2 of Everything from 1999, match-cutting your own path through the archive to uncover what happened to her. It's an 88 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $15, 40% off, Karma: The Dark World is a first-person cinematic psychological thriller set in 1984 East Germany, where the Leviathan Corporation rules through mass surveillance, mind-altering drugs, and iron-fisted control. You play as Daniel McGovern, a Rome agent who dives into the memories of suspects to investigate crimes, piecing together a dark story of espionage, betrayal, love, and loss as the boundaries between reality and the surreal blur. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $15, 63% off, the Dark Pictures anthology The Devil in Me is a cinematic horror game where a group of documentary filmmakers are lured into a modern-day replica of H.H. Holmes' murder castle, only to discover they are being trapped in deadly games. You'll explore the sinister World's Fair Hotel, solve tool-based puzzles, and navigate run, jump, and climb mechanics while surviving elaborately designed killing rooms that test your courage. It's a 72 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, about 20 hours to platinum. For $3, 85% off, Dead Island Definitive Edition is a remastered zombie survival action RPG set on the tropical island of Banoi, where a sudden outbreak turns paradise into a nightmarish fight for survival. Explore an open-world solo or with up to 4 players in co-op, smashing and slicing zombies with visceral, customizable melee combat while scavenging for weapons, crafting upgrades, completing side quests, and facing terrifying hordes. It's a 74 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $9, 55% off, BloodRayne Revamped is a frenetic third-person shooter that follows Rain, an agent of the Brimstone Society, as she hunts supernatural threats during World War II. Acrobatically slash and shoot your way through Louisiana swamps, Argentine mines, and a ruined German castle, wielding vampiric abilities and an arsenal of deadly weapons while uncovering a sinister plot involving powerful occult relics. It's a 70 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 20 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $5, 80% off, Killer Frequency is a horror comedy first-person puzzle game set in 1987, where you play a late-night radio DJ running the graveyard shift in a small town and must save callers from a mysterious killer. You'll solve puzzles, explore a fully interactive retro radio station, gather clues, and make real-time decisions through branching dialogues while interacting with eccentric townsfolk, all under the pressure that every call could mean life or death. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. Alright, that's it for today's list, everybody. If you've played any of these already, drop your thoughts in the comments. Your insights help others find great games too, it's not just mine. As always, I want to thank all my channel members for their generous support, but to all you out there who watch, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff as well, thank you. You're the reason I'm still having fun making all these videos every day, and I'm genuinely grateful for each and every one of you out there. If you can spare $1 a month, you get early access to all my videos, and it helps me out more than you know. But I know times are tough out there, so all I do ask is, if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with any new sale stuff that I put out, leave a like, and comment down below if you've got any of these platinums or plan on going for any of them.